Hi everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. This is Karen.
Welcome back, friends. I am Shane.
Today we're looking at day 2 of taking time off, an extended absence. And the vocabulary words are extended.
Extended.
We had an extended weekend because of the holiday.
Exception.
Exception.
I don't usually eat dessert, but tonight I'll make an exception.
Percentage.
Percentage.
This town has a high percentage of people without jobs.
Concern.
Concern.
Ed wrote a letter to Sue after her surgery to express his concern.
That's right. So we're talking about being absent, right?
Yeah.
From something. Being absent from something means you're not there.
Right. Were you absent from class a lot?
When I was in school,
Let's say high school. Did you miss a lot of classes or miss a lot of days from school?
I didn't miss that many classes, but
I
missed some classes.
Were you on any like sports teams or do any extra curricular activities like school group or club?
Clubs. No, I was never in any clubs. I kind of regret that though. How about you?
Well, I played sports, so sometimes I would have to miss classes to go and travel or to practice or something like that.
So you were absent quite a lot.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes I would be sick.
Really? Sick?
Maybe I would tell my mom I was sick.
And then maybe you would miss a class or two.
Yeah, but of course I wouldn't do that very often because I was a really good boy.
That's right.
An angel.
And I, really? But I do think that attendance is very important, right?
Of course it is.
It counts as maybe like a huge percentage of your mark, like overall, in some classes.
Right, and of course if you're in school, you will know the material and you will be able to do well on the exams.
Exactly. The important thing is to learn when you're in school, so
Right.
try not to be absent.
Yeah, so go to school every day.
Exactly.
No excuses.
Only when you're sick, then it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, enjoy guys.
Try.
Alan is speaking to his teacher, Mr. Kaufman, about being absent from class.
Hello, Mr. Kaufman? May I speak to you for a second?
Sure, Alan. What's on your mind?
I'm not sure if you know, but I'm on the school's swim team, and next Thursday we're going to Scottsdale High School to compete against their team.
Well, that certainly sounds exciting. I'm sure you and your team will knock their socks off.
Thanks, but it also means I'll be absent from class on Thursday, which is when you'll be giving us our unit test.
I see. Well, it's not my policy usually to give makeup tests, but since your absence is school-related, I'll make an exception this time.
Welcome to Live Interactive English Magazine. Today, folks, we've got a real treat for you. It's day 2, reading our daily conversation for this month. Now, if you recall, this month we're talking about taking time off.
Oh, really?
Our characters
Great,
are talking
let's
about
go. Oh, you mean not now? What's what we're talking? Oh, I thought we were taking time off. I thought we were on holiday. Woo!
Mike, come on, get your game face on, all right? Let's
sorry.
get moving here. Yes.
All right, taking
today,
time off, yes.
Our characters are talking about taking time off. Now, on day 1 we talked about taking personal leave, but
Right,
now
asking for personal leave. Yes.
we've
yes.
got something different on day 2. Okay,
Okay.
we're taking time
Okay.
off, but this time we're talking about an
Uh-huh.
extended absence. Now,
Oh, okay.
before we go any further, my name is Jeff, and you are Joe, Billy, Bob, Jameson?
Marvin.
Nike,
Mike.
Mike. That's right, Mike.
Mike.
and
I
this
knew
is
it was
Mike.
like a shoe.
Yeah, just like Nike. Okay, anyways, here in the title, an extended
Yes.
absence, we have the word extended. Now, when I
Right.
think about the word extend, I think about something becoming longer.
That's exactly what to extend means. It's to make something longer. So if something is extended, if we're using it as an adjective, it means it's a little bit longer than you might expect or than normal. So for example, you might expect to spend a few minutes waiting at a subway station if you're taking the MRT, but if there's a problem on the track, they might say, oh, we're going to have an extended break, a longer stay than what would normally happen. For example, we could say we had an extended weekend because of the holiday, and everyone was real happy. 3-4 day weekend. Lovely.
3 and 4 day weekends are fantastic.
Yes,
but
they are.
Work is fantastic.
That's right,
as
work
well.
is
let's
good
get
too.
let's get to work. Okay, we've
Alan.
got 2 characters today in our dialogue. Okay, we've got Mr. Kaufman.
Okay.
And we've
Mr.
got
Kaufman?
Alan. Now, Alan is speaking to his teacher, Mr. Kaufman, about being absent from class. So Alan, the student, he's talking to Mr. Kaufman, the teacher or professor, and he's talking about being absent or away from class.
Okay, so let's check out our dialogue. Alan says, "Hello, Mr. Kaufman. May I speak to you for a second?" So he's got to talk to Mr. Kaufman about something important. It won't take long. That's why he says, "I'll speak to you for a second." Of course, it's not really 1 second.
No.
You can't talk about
A
very
short
much.
period of time,
A
yeah.
short period of time. It won't take an hour or anything, but obviously it's important, and he wants to make sure Mr. Kaufman isn't very busy right now. Mr. Kaufman says, "Sure, Alan," right? He's got some free time. "What's on your mind? What's on your mind? What's your problem? What are you thinking about? What's the trouble?
What do you want to talk to me
What's going
about?
on?" Yes,
Mr. Kaufman, by the way, that's 2 F's and 2 N's, Mr. Kaufman. Yeah. Anyways, Alan says, "I'm not sure if you know, but I'm on the school's swim team, and next Thursday we're going to Scottsdale High School to compete against their team." Uh-oh. So it sounds like Alan is going to be missing school because of a swim meet. He's on the swim team, and he's going to go to a swim meet at another high school and compete there. Alas, he can't be in Mr. Kaufman's class. So what's Mr. Kaufman going to say? What's he going to do? How is he going to handle this?
I think Alan's probably going to get a good answer here because it's school stuff he's doing, right? He's on the school swim team. The swim team is the swimming team. And just like you have a basketball team or a baseball team, schools have teams in the sport of swimming. And they'll go to another school to swim in races against students from that school. Yeah, you're right. We don't call that a swim match or a swim game. It's a swim meet or a swimming meet. You're going to meet at the pool and then you have your races. So yeah, you're probably right. He's going to miss school. Let's see what Mr. Kaufman says. Well, he says that certainly sounds exciting. You know, it's exciting to go into a game, a contest, a sport for your school against another school, right? I'm sure you and your team will knock their socks off. They're going to knock their socks off.
This is a little bit peculiar.
Kind of a
Usually,
strange expression.
yeah, if you knock someone's socks off, that means you surprise them. It's very, very good. But here, Mr. Kaufman's what he's meaning to say is that you guys are going to beat them or outcompete them. You're really going to outcompete them.
Yeah, I've also heard this used impress someone.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to go up and sing a song or act in a play, someone would say, "Hey, knock their socks off." It means you're going to shock them, you're going to surprise them with your talent, your skill, your fast swimming in this case, and they're going to go, "Wow, that was really great, that was really awesome." They're going to be quite impressed. So he's saying, "I'm sure you and the team will do well. It sounds exciting." Mr. Kaufman still doesn't really understand what the problem here is, what Alan's trying to get at.
And that's why Alan starts to clarify himself. He says, thanks for saying I'm going to knock people's socks off. It's great, great.
Good.
But it also means I'll be absent from class on Thursday, which is when you'll be giving us our unit test. So missing a day of school, not a big deal. Missing a day of school when there's going to be a unit test or a big test or an exam,
That's complicated.
it's complicated and kind of bad news.
That's right. Of course, you still have to take the test. The teacher will be worried that you'll talk to your classmates and you'll find out what's on the test, right? So there's some problems with organizing it, making it fair, and making sure you get your chance. So Mr. Kaufman I see, he says, kind of like, "I understand, okay. Well, it's not my policy," right? It's not my, you always rub your chin. I see. Well, he says, "It's not my policy. It's not part of my usual rules or the usual way I teach and take care of the students to give makeup tests." A makeup test is the kind of test you'll do when you missed the real test. Maybe you were sick, there was some problem, you couldn't be there, so you're going to make up the test. You're going to do it later at a different time from the other students. So he says, "I don't normally do that because there is a chance you can cheat, that some students can get an unfair advantage."
He also says, but. So he says, "Not my policy.
Yeah.
By rule, I don't do this.
that. Yeah.
But Since your absence is school-related, I'll
That's
make
true.
an exception this time.
It's
Now,
a swim meet. It's not like he's going to the amusement park or going shopping and watching movies with his family.
Yeah.
It's a school-related thing. It's going with the school swimming team. So you can't punish him for that.
No, and that's why Mr. Kaufman is going to grant him an exception. So
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman is going to break his rule, break his policy
Bend the rule.
just this once
Yeah.
for our friend Alan. That's what an exception is all about in this case. He's not going to follow his rule in this situation. He's going to make an exception for Alan. And we have an example sentence for the word exception. I don't usually eat dessert, but tonight I'll make an exception. So this person normally, usually, regularly does not eat dessert. It's kind of like a rule for them. They don't want to eat dessert, maybe because they don't want to get fat. But tonight, that dessert just looks too good. They're going to make an exception. They're going to bend or break their rule about eating dessert. Anyways, folks, with that, let's take a short break. But when we come back, we're going to wrap up day 2 of this month's daily conversation.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这次的绘画主题是关于请假。那么今天的标题是 An extended absence。Extended 它是形容延长的，那 absence 是缺席不在，所以应该是有学生他要延长请假。那么对话里面的主角 Alan， 他一开始就对老师说 ，May I speak to you for a second？ 我可以跟你说个话吗？那其中这个 for a second 不是真的只有1秒，而是指很短暂一下下。好，那接着 Kaufman 老师他就回答说 ，What's on your mind？ 这句话它就相当于 What's going on？ 有什么事吗？哦，原来 Alan 他有参加游泳校队，他下礼拜4要去别的高中比赛。那 Mr. Kaufman 他听到这个消息也很兴奋哦，还说他很确定 Alan 他们这个校队一定会击败对方的。Knock somebody's socks off 就表示去击败某人，不过这个片语它也可以用来指使某个人非常惊讶，或是使某人刮目相看。那刚刚老师们还提到，游泳竞赛的英文不是 swim match。也不是 swim game， 而是要用 swim meet，M-E-E-T swim meet。好，接着 Alan 他要切入重点了。既然他要去比赛，那就表示星期4的课他会缺席，当天的考试就没办法考了。那 Mr. Kaufman 就说，原则上他是不给补考的哦，但既然你请假是跟学校有关，那我就破例一次。Exception 是例外，那 make an exception 就表示破例。再来看 make up test，make up test 就是补考了。好，我们接着回到课文中。
Thanks, Mr. Kaufman. Can I take the test on Friday then?
Yes, Friday's fine. Alan, I see you've had quite a number of absences this semester.
Yes, I realize that and I'm sorry. I was sick a couple of times and I also had some family problems to deal with.
I hope that everything's fine now. But remember that attendance does count as a percentage of your overall grade.
I will. Thank you for your concern.
Today, on day 2, today we're talking about a student, Alan, who's a member of the school swimming team, the swim team, and he needs a day off school to go and join a swim meet, a swim race for his school. The problem is that it's on a Thursday, which is also a day his teacher, Mr. Kaufman, wants to give him a test. So he's asking Mr. Kaufman if he can miss the test. Of course, this is for something that's to do with the school. It's not for Alan just for fun or to go on holiday with his family. It's to be part of the school swimming team.
Yeah, so this could have been a disaster. Mr. Kaufman does not give makeup tests. That's his policy. But
Right.
luckily for Alan, Mr. Kaufman made an exception. He said, because this is school related, I'm going to let you take a makeup test. Even if you can't come on Thursday, we'll make sure you get that test. We're going to give you a makeup test. And well, Alan next kind of inquires about when is this going to happen? When am I going to get this makeup test? Now, first, before he asks that question, though, he's very polite. He says, thanks, Mr. Kaufman. I know you didn't need to make an exception for me. But then he asks the question, can I take the test on Friday then? So I can't take it on Thursday, but how about the the day after. Now,
but Mr. Kaufman says Friday, yes, Friday's fine, he says. So you can take the test Friday. That's good news. It means Alan, of course, is allowed to miss the test on Thursday. But then he's looking at the attendance sheet. That's the list of all the students, their names,
roll.
and what they've missed, how many days of class they've missed, and things like that. So he's looking at that, and he notices, he says, Alan, I see you've had quite a number, that's more than a few, of absences, quite a number of absences this semester. He's missed class a few too many times this semester in the school year. Not good, not good.
Basically, Alan doesn't come to class all that often. He misses a lot of days. He just doesn't show up. He's got a lot of absences. Now, Alan responds to this by saying, yes, I realize that.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
Oh, well, he's sorry. Okay.
I was sick a couple of times. And I also had to deal with some family problems, where he says, I also had some family problems to deal with. So he had some personal issues, and he was also shenbingla a couple of times.
That's right. He's also on the swim team. Seems like Alan's got a lot of reasons to not go to school.
Excuses.
And that's why Mr. Kaufman is a little concerned about that. Mr. Kaufman says, I hope that everything's fine now. I hope you're healthy, your family's okay, so I hope there's no more of this problem now or in the future. But he says, remember that attendance does count as a percentage of your overall grade. Yes, very much in university especially. You don't have to go to class, but they might base, 10 to 20% of your grade on how much you go, on your attendance. So you can lose points, you can lose marks if you're just lazy or if you're not organized and you miss your class. It will be a certain percentage. I talked about 10%, 20%. A percentage is usually 1 unit out of 100. So if I say 10%, that's 10 out of 100, right?
Exactly.
But 10% of 50 would be 5 out of 100, right?
There you go.
Something like that.
Sounds good to me. Now here, yes, when they're talking about percentage, we're talking about a person's grade and the way it is counted. So if he says that attendance does count as a percentage of your overall grade, that means if you don't come to class, your overall grade, out of 100 of course,
that's right,
could be lower than if you had come to every single class. And yes, percentages are usually counted out of 100. So a perfect class with a perfect scores in all your exams would be a 100.
100%. Let's
say if you don't come to class, though, they might dock you 10 points, or they might knock that grade down to a 90, and that's only if you're a genius and you get 100% on everything else. Anyways, for example, this town has a high percentage of people without jobs.
So if I had 100 people in that town and asked who didn't have a job, maybe 5 or 10 of them would have put up their hand. That's 10%, 5 or 10%. That's quite a few people
that is
without jobs. Not good.
Anyways, next, Alan concludes our dialogue. He says, I will.
And then be more careful. Yeah.
Thank you for your concern. Now here, concern is being used as a noun. A concern is a worry or a thought that you have for another person. So Alan detects some concern on Mr. Kaufman's part. Mr. Kaufman is worried about Alan. So Alan is very nice and says, thank you for your concern. Thank you for thinking about me. Thank you for keeping me in your thoughts. You're such a thoughtful teacher, Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you for caring. That's why they call him Caring Kaufman.
Caring Kaufman. Caring, it's 2 Ks.
Caring Kaufman, the chemistry teacher.
Sounds good to me.
There we go.
Okay.
We have an example sentence. Yes, for
example,
concern. What does it say?
Ed wrote a letter to Sue after her surgery to express his concern.
Oh, because he's worried about her. He's thinking about her. He's happy that she's
Well, it was major surgery. Sue went under the knife.
Wishing her all the best in the future and a healthy, speedy recovery. That's very nice. It is nice to show concern to your family, your friends, people you care about, people around you. That's a nice thing to do, even teachers to students.
How about that? Anyways, folks, with that, though, our dialogue has now come to an end. This week's daily conversation, this month's daily conversation, rather, is no more. But I sure hope you guys liked reading along with us. Anyways, 休息一下，我们稍后回来。
Mr. Kaufman 他很严格哦，通常都不让学生去补考，但这一次 Alan 他是要代表学校去比赛，他就决定破例一次，同意让他在星期五考试。不过他看一看那个出席表，发现 Alan 这个学期已经有很多次缺席耶。 absence 是缺席，那 attendance 是出席出勤，所以说 attendance sheet 就表示出席表。原来 Alan 他先前是有几次生病，而且还有一些家里的问题要处理，所以才会请那么多假。那老师就先关心他是不是一切都还顺利，接着就提醒他出席状况会算在总成绩的一部分哦。好 ，Alan 他就很有礼貌的谢谢老师关心。那我们最后来看2个单字，首先 percentage 是指百分比、百分率，那它在课文里面是指部分，所以说A percentage of your overall grade 就表示总成绩的一部分。那么 concern 当名词是关心、关切的意思。好啦，那以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Hello， 又到了 Grammar Express， 我是 Yvette。在学校里缺席太多会影响学习成绩。在今天的对话里 ，Alan 因为要比赛需要请假。Mr. Kaufman 就提醒他 I see you've had quite a number of absences this semester. 我看你这学期已经有很多次缺席咯。Grammar Express 要整理 a number of 和 the number of 的差异。2个片语的后面都是接复数的可数名词，但动词搭配和意思都不相同。A number of 的意思是一些或者是几个。后面接复数动词，相当于 several、some 或者是 a few。The number of 则是指什么什么的数量，后面呢是要搭配单数的动词。There are a number of Chinese restaurants on this street。这条街上有几家中国餐馆。The number of students who attended the seminar was higher than I had expected。参加研讨会的学生人数啊，比我预期的多。以上就是今天介绍的文法重点，我们下次见，拜拜。
3, 2, 1, action！ 玉娇龙跳崖之后身受重伤，被师娘闭眼狐狸救走。2人在破庙里疗伤，但是闭眼狐狸可不是真心救人，他有更狠毒的诡计。
Sooner or later, they'd drag you back to Beijing.
But I don't want to go back to Beijing.
Your parents will never accept you again.
Mom, Dad.
But why go home? We've gone this far. We won't stop now.
What do you want?
You will always be my lady. At last, we'll be our own masters. We'll be happy. That's the most important thing. All we have left is each other, right?
What?
Lay down and rest.
哇塞！你看这个闭眼狐狸非常的狠毒，人家玉娇龙已经身受重伤，他还给他闻那种不知道什么奇怪的香味，让他觉得意识弥留。闭眼狐狸说 ：“Sooner or later, they drag you back to Beijing。”啊，迟早啊，你的父母也会把你那个。抓你回北京，而且他用的 drag 这个动词 D-R-A-G drag 就有拉或是拖，所以他这边讲说 they drag you back to Beijing， 就是他们用拖的要把你拖回北京去那个嫁人。然后呢，玉娇龙说 I don't want to go back to Beijing， 我不想要回北京啊。闭眼狐狸说 Your parents will never accept you again。父母啊，绝对不会再接受你这个女儿，绝对不会认你这个女儿。他用的动词是 accept A-C-C-E-P-T accept。They will never accept you， 他们绝对不会再认你，绝对不会再接受你。闭眼狐狸继续说了 ，Why go home？ 干嘛要回家呢 ？We've gone this far, we won't stop now。我们已经走到这一步了，我们不应该停止，要继续下去。You will always be my lady， 你永远会是我的小姐。At last, we'll be our own masters。我们终于可以做自己的主人了，做自己的主人。Master, M-A-S-T-E-R, master。Master 就是有主人的意思，主子或是主人 will be our own masters， 主人啊的名词 will be happy And that's the most important thing. 我们会快乐逍遥，但快乐逍遥最重要。All we have left is each other, right? 我们现在就只剩下彼此了，要互相照应啊！赶快躺下来歇着吧。Here, lie down and rest. 然后就再给他闻那个不知道奇怪什么药，好狠毒，那到底是什么毒药呢？是十姜软筋散，还是含笑半步癫？是大麻摇头丸，还是正露丸？请继续收看《iAction 之电影龙卷风》。